I know what I want to talk about, what I want to shoot the shit with while I finish getting ready before I film some of my other videos today. But does anyone that is subscribed to me watch Game of Thrones? What did you think? I hated the finale. I've read all of the books. I cannot say that I am cool enough to have read the books before I watched the show. I am the kind of person who watched the first season and then went and read the books because I had to know what happened next. And I just kind of fell in love with the books because reading the books, there's stuff that's different even in the first season that you're like, oh wow, like they changed this about Daenerys, they changed this, they did this. But all in all, I'd say that the first season is pretty true to the books. And then every season after that, it just kind of started to go downhill. To me, the glaring moment that I was like, oh, the show getting bad, was when they tried to do Dorne after the character of Oberyn Martell dies. So when Pedro Pascal's character dies, that's when I feel the show just started to go really shitty. Because they're making, sorry, I have to be like down here to like do this because of my mirror. But this isn't a how to do makeup video. This is just like a watch me do makeup and listen to me bitch about Game of Thrones video. So yeah, that to me is when Game of Thrones like jumped the shark and then continued to jump the shark, because I was really questioning what they were doing with Sansa's character, because Sansa's story is very different in the books than it is in the shows, and her character is pretty different. People still hate her with no real like reason in the books. Like, people absolutely abhor Sansa, like with no real fucking reason, in my opinion. I think it's just because they hate that what she represents is stereotypical femininity and what you can do with that femininity in a medieval setting, which is upsetting. How many times can I say setting? So that's what I think. I think people don't like her because she represents that archetype of what you can do. The fact that you grow up and you want to grow up being a princess. You think that that's what you want. And then you get there and you realize that the prince is crazy. His mom is crazy. She's her brother. I'm just making this worse. And nothing that you thought you wanted do you really want. Like, to me, Sansa is the personification of the reality of little girls' dreams like that, and how it's not really what you think it's going to be at all. But I don't know, maybe because I was really in love with some dude and was willing to forsake my family, and then he just fucking ditched me. That's why I can hashtag relate to Sansa more than some other people, but that's what I think about that. I have to say that her storyline made me the least upset. I don't understand, by the way, this is spoiler full, this review, because it's over, so go watch it instead of complaining in my comments, please. I don't really quite understand why Bran is king. I braced myself for that when I looked ahead at the spoilers and stuff, but I still don't really know how I feel about it, if I like it or whatever. I was really upset that Jon didn't fight the Night King at all. Like, at all. He just never faced him. Instead, they had him screaming at a dragon, which made no sense. He was nowhere even near the Night King. That pissed me off. And then another thing is, what the hell happened to Cersei? Like, Cersei always has all these crazy plans in the books. Everyone describes her as being all wildfire. Like, there's all of this foreshadowing that Cersei's gonna be the one to burn King's Landing. So I don't understand why they did what they did with that either. Like, they just reduced Cersei to a woman begging for the life of her unborn child while on Mother's Day too, by the way, while her castle is coming down on top of her. And if she had just moved 2 feet to the right, she would have survived because she would have missed the bricks. Like, I don't get it. I also have been upset by the fact that we really got gypped on Euron Greyjoy. Like, that is not Euron. That's not Euron. It's not Euron at all. He seems much more like a Victarion type character to me than he ever did like a Euron type character. He's not smart or into any sort of Dark One crazy deep shit. And in my mind, I always pictured Mads Mikkelsen as the perfect Euron Greyjoy. I think that he would really be able to deliver a good performance. I think that we got gypped. I mean, like, nothing against Pilo Asbæk. He's an alright actor. I just think he wasn't really given much to do with his character, and that his character was really stupid. Like, Euron's fucking smart in the show, and they just reduced him to wanting to fuck the queen, and I don't know. And then also Daenerys. There's a heel turn with Daenerys, and like, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I like Daenerys more in the books than I do in the show. In the show, I think Daenerys is really rather entitled. I think she is a brat. I don't understand why she lost her dragons in season 2, other than CGI budget cuts. And yeah, like, I don't know what really happened to Daenerys this season. I'm completely fine with the fact that she's like the big bad at the end. She's the true villain. Okay, cool. I'm down for that. I just feel like fucking D&D Dumb and Dumber, like people have been calling them. Also, what the hell, this concealer is way too white with this lighting. Just, this video has turned into watch me eyeliner, honestly. But whatever. I cannot believe that they said HBO offered them to do 10 episodes this season. They also offered to go into more seasons, but they said, no, we don't want to do that, and we can do this last season, not in 10 episodes, but in 6. That is the quickest heel turn I've ever seen, and they think that just because they did foreshadowing, that makes it a character development. Like, I am perfectly fine with watching Daenerys genocide and burn 1 million people in King's Landing. Like, I'm fine with that. If that's what's going to happen, then chill. But like, give me more of a reason to hate her other than the fact that she's just an entitled bitch that thinks that this is her destiny, and then all of a sudden turns into a Nazi and wants to take over the world, and then other people don't get to decide. Like, I don't understand how she went from wanting to help and save everyone from the army of the dead to burning 1 million people and systematically going through streets. Like, I would have even been fine, and I think people would have supported the fact that if she had just taken down the Red Keep, like, if she had done that only, people would have totally supported that and like gotten behind Daenerys with that, I think, personally. Because that's kind of like collateral damage, you know? Like, hey, sorry, I don't know if I can trust the people in the Red Keep. Y'all are supporting Cersei. Like, this bitch is coming down. This fucking castle is coming down, and everyone inside it is going with it. Cool. But I have to agree with all of those memes being like us cheering Daenerys while she's roasting masters, we're like, yes, queen, good Daenerys, yes, burn all the slavers, burn all the warlocks. And then she comes over and gets to King's Landing, and we're like, no, stop. When that's what she's been doing, you know? Olenna Tyrell said it really well. She is a dragon, so be a dragon. The only thing is that the other dragon that came before her, Aegon, he knew the power of making allies. Daenerys is not interested in making any fucking allies. She was just done. Like, seriously done. She was done with all of that. And all she really wanted was that Jon Snow D. That's all she wanted. And he couldn't do it, even though she was a queen. She's my queen. But he couldn't do it. Until the end, when he laid that dagger into her. And also, what, like, are we supposed to believe that a dragon realizes that the chair killed his mom? I'm supposed to buy that? I'm supposed to buy that a dragon understands that a chair killed his mom? Or that he's just like, pointy thing? Looks at him, looks at Iron Throne, pointy things! You son of a bitch! And then fucking roasts it? Like, really? Okay, sure. I just feel like this entire last season has been like a f*** you to the fans. I feel kind of numb to the finale, honestly, in a way. Like, it's true, I want to wait for the books. I don't feel like that's what will really happen. They're missing so many necessary characters that are in the books that weren't at all in the TV show. And yeah, I think it just was a shit show, all in all. Okay, but let's try to be positive. So, like, positive things that D&D did instead of being dumb. They didn't write anything good. Positives that I can say about this last season. It was beautiful. The score is always great. The music was beautiful. Visually, it was beautiful. I really like that scene where Daenerys looked like an angel of death getting off of Drogon at the end. That was really cool. I would have loved to have had, like, an entire season of evil Daenerys. I would have loved to have had that. See what happened with that, you know? Like, imprisoning Tyrion and, like, how she doesn't see that she's become a tyrant and, like, more of her tyrant behavior. Or is it really that quick in the books and Jon just axes her? Like, I'm curious. So yeah, let me know what you thought. If you watched Game of Thrones, if you liked the finale or not, what you thought of the finale. I also was pretty bummed that we never got an answer to what the hell Qyburn did to the mountain. Like, what did he do? How did he make him a zombie? He's a zombie that still has some form of his old self and memory because he disobeyed Qyburn, you know, kills him. And then lets Cersei walk away. Cersei just dips out of there like super quick. What else was okay? I also don't understand, like, why is Grey Worm the guy that they have to appease? Like, why does Grey Worm get a say in what Jon Snow's life becomes? Like, how did the Unsullied not get taken out at that point? How were they able to just chill in King's Landing until they decided that they were going to go to Noth? Which, by the way, LOL going to Noth. If you've read the books, you'll know that they gonna die because in Noth, the people are peaceful because there is this, I think it's like a butterfly with a flesh-eating bacteria or something on it So, and that, like, the Nathi are immune to it. So that's why they can be a pacifistic people and not have to engage in any warfare with other nations, because those butterflies and that, it's like a flesh-eating bacteria or something. It just takes care of that for them. So, since the Unsullied aren't from Noth, they have no immunity to it, and they will all promptly die. I thought that was pretty stupid, but then again, that's not in the show, so I guess they can go to Noth and just live out their days there. But, I don't know. It's like Daenerys died and then Grey Worm's in charge. I don't get why. That was another thing that didn't make any sense. Or did make sense. Oh, Bran saying that he can't be Warden of the North, but he can lead Westeros? Bro, is that why you can't be Warden of the North? Like, because you've known this entire time that you're getting towards something greater? Is it more insidious with the fact of, like, you're the three-eyed raven? Have you, like, foreseen all of this? Is there stuff that you have, like, had not happen? Is this just all happening because you see everything happening? So this is, like, the timeline that has transpired. What also happened to Mira Reed, the girl who dragged your cripple ass around for freaking seasons, 3 seasons, and then you become king, and she's nowhere around? Like, did she just go back to the fucking marshlands in the north and just ride out? Hi, Igor. The undead apocalypse? Be like, no, I've seen some shit. I lost my brother and then I lost my boyfriend. I don't understand why Mira never came back. There's so many just open-ended, never spoken of again fucking plot points in Game of Thrones. It's so aggravating. So aggravating. I think the only character that I really enjoyed the death of was Melisandre. But once again, like, I don't have an issue with the fact that Arya killed the Night King. I have an issue with the fact that I don't understand why Jon never got to fight the Night King at all. Like, I would have really loved it if Jon was fighting the Night King, and it seems like all hope is fucking lost because he is, like, you know, bested, or like he's really tired and he just, like, can't keep the fight up. He just can't keep going, and you think that he's gonna get killed by the Night King, and then, oh, here comes Arya, and then she stabs the Night King. Like, I think that would have been so much better, and if they crashed on the dragons, like, into that weirwood area, that would have been fucking awesome. I think that they could have fixed Arya killing the Night King very easily with having it seem like Jon's going to die, and then Arya comes in and stabs the Night King and then saves him. Like, that would have been cool. I just, as a fan of Jon and Arya, like, I'm not mad about it, but I'm not really jazzed about it either, because to me it doesn't really make sense narratively with all the foreshadowing and shit, and how Jon's always been the one to have shit going on with the Night King and then the White Walkers and Hardhome and all of that. I just would have loved to have seen the Night King face off against Jon Snow just once. Just clash those swords just, like, once. Please, just give me something. And I got nothing. We got nothing. The fans got nothing. This season was so rushed. But I think that's how they could have fixed that. And then also, like, if we just had an episode to watch Daenerys be upset, I think that that would have helped with her heel turn. And I think that if we heard her logic and how far gone she feels with, like, the prophecies of her destiny and all of that, that could have helped too. There's just so much that they could have done, should have done, didn't do. And it is what it is. And I think my most favorite thing, besides the spicy memes of this season, are is the cast's like reaction in interviews to this season. So like the actor who played Varys has been very honest and open with feeling a little shorted. Like they didn't really do Varys justice this season. I mean, he's master of spies, master of whispers, something like that. So he's supposed to have all of these plans and have all of his little birds and plots and shit. And like in the books, I'm pretty sure he's a secret Blackfire supporter. It's hilarious to hear his actor talk about how he feels like Varys was done a disservice with his death and how it was really rather rushed along. I have to say, I was fucking surprised to see that my boy Varys only lasted like, what? I timed it. He only lasted 15 minutes into that episode. He only lasted 15 minutes into that last episode where he died. And then Daenerys just roasts him. And also they fucking telecasted that, like with the previous episode. If you betray me again, I'll burn you. They show it to you in the episode. Also, what do people think about the inside the episodes? Like, I love the inside the episodes where the crew, the makeup crew, the sets, the pyrotechnic people, like all of them do such a great job on the show. I don't want to come across like ungrateful to them or think that they have done a bad job. Like, not at all. I just think that the shitty writing has done a disservice to all of the other talented people. Talented actors, talented set designers, costumers, all of that. Like, this shitty writing just really ruined a ton of shit for everyone involved. And I think, like, Emilia Clarke obviously had a hard time with her character's heel turn. In interviews, you can tell that she had a hard time with it. It has seemed like it came out of nowhere because she's had no time to really establish this heel turn. I also agree with Kit Harington. They asked him, what do you, like, how would you describe this last season of Game of Thrones? Disappointing. Yes, I think that is quite accurate, Kit. This last season of Game of Thrones has been the disappointing. But yeah, I know this is coming from a bitch who read all the books and all of that. So, yep. That's what I think about that. And that's gonna do it for this video. And my makeup is finally done. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about Game of Thrones finale. If you watch it, if you've read the books, if you like it, if you hate it, if you're excited that it's over and there's only going to be prequels and that people will stop talking about it for a time. Tell me about it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Alright, I'll see you in my next video, whatever it is. Bye.